Another successful road trip provided the Braves some impressive milestones. Ron Gant knocked in his 100th run. Terry Pendleton hit his 100th career homer. But the most important achievement was first place in the West. Now the Braves will try to stay there as Tom Glavine opens up the homestand. Braves Reds next.
There's a drive, big left field. Back goes Nixon to the wall. He caught it. Unbelievable. Kiss this one goodbye. It's a slam. And down the stretch he comes. Here's a Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win.
Hello again, everybody. Along with Don Sutton, Skip Carey, welcoming you to another night of Atlanta Braves baseball. Braves back home to take on the Cincinnati Reds in the first game of a 3-game series, and the Braves are very happily on top of the National League West by a game and a half. The only trouble with that, Don, is the same people who wrote the Braves off when they were 10 games out now have decided it's all over, on to Philadelphia or Montreal or wherever we're supposed to go for the playoffs. But the Giants and the Braves will tell you that is not the way it is.
And as you have said, and we have said so many times, it's still played on the field, and the players are the ones who are going to influence it. And I think if you check with the Braves, they would like to have a very large lead and like to have that trip to Montreal and Philadelphia over with. Still a couple of questions that have to be answered, Skip. Number one, about Mark Lemke. He's day-to-day but feeling better. Hopefully the Braves can get him back in the lineup soon. A very pressing question about Greg Maddux. Word we have is he's going to be set back to Saturday, but he is okay. Another question I have for you is, have you been featured in Baseball Weekly lately?
No, in Baseball America, no,
Baseball
but our
America.
producer, Glenn Diamond, has. And by the way, if there's a tie in the National League West, there will be a 1-game playoff the Monday after the regular season ends, and that will be in San Francisco. And we'll be back with the starting lineups. Further review of Glenn Diamond's career right after this.
Welcome back to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The first of how many against the Reds? 4?
3.
Let's make it 3. Here's our Budweiser starting lineup. For the visiting Reds, it's going to be Jacob Brumfield leading it off. Thomas Howard will bat second. Reggie Sanders third. Chris Sabo in the cleanup spot. He'll be followed by Hal Morris and Joe Oliver. Juan Samuel will hit 7th. Jeff Branson 8th. And Bobby Ayala will bat 9th. For the Braves defensively, they will line up like this. It's going to be an outfield of Ganton left, Nixon in center, David Justice in right field. Terry Pendleton at third, Jeff Blauser at short, Rafael Belliard starting again in place of Mark Lemke. And what a good series Belliard had, 5 out of 15 out against San Diego. Then it's Fred McGriff at first base. Damon Berryhill gets the start behind the plate, and Tom Glavine on the mound. The meeting has taken place at home plate. Here's a look at the umpiring crew. Tom Hallion will be ringing up the balls and strikes. Steve Ripley will trot down to first base. It's going to be Jerry Crawford at second and Jim Quick over at third. The Braves have yet to take the field. It's going to be another sellout crowd here tonight. Very nice to have a good road trip, but you can't beat in front of the home crowd. And as you can see and maybe hear in the background, a standing ovation. The chant and the chop all taking place as the Braves trot out onto the field. Tom Glavine takes the mound. Glavine 18-5. He has logged 207 innings for the Braves. His earned run average coming right on down. It's right about 3-2 now. The league only hitting .253 against Tom. He has won 8 out of his last 9 decisions. The Braves have won 11 of his last 12 starts. This will be his 32nd start, and in those 31 starts, the Braves are 23-8. His control, the number's a little high there. You can see his control has really picked up. He hadn't walked anybody in his last 16 innings, and if you ask him, he likes playing at home, but he'd much rather pitch against the Reds at Riverfront. A perfect 10-0, not so good here. He does have a 13-4 career record against the Cincinnati Reds, so it has been a club that he has pitched well against. We're set to go, and here's Skip to kick it off.
Okay, Don, thanks very much. In the other baseball doubleheader at Colorado, Houston is playing there, and the Rockies are winning the first game 9-4 as they go to the 9th inning. Pittsburgh leads Florida at least 1-0 in the first. Carlos Garcia has hit his 11th homer of the year. Paul Wagner against Chris Hammond. Philadelphia at New York about to get started. Montreal and St. Louis in a half hour. Los Angeles and San Diego at 10:05 our time. And Chicago against San Francisco at 10:35 Eastern time. Jose Bautista against Jim Deshaies. In the American League, a very important game in Detroit where Toronto is playing. Likewise in Boston, where Baltimore furnishes the opposition. And the Yankees are at Milwaukee. Oakland plays at Minnesota. The White Sox at Kansas City. Kansas City needs a sweep to have a chance. Cleveland at Texas, and Seattle will play later on at California. That's all the other baseball up to the moment, and we are ready to go. Jacob Brumfield, who makes his home in Atlanta in the offseason, leads things off. He's having a fine year. The youngster hitting .274. This Cincinnati team has had a very disappointing year. They're 6 games under .500, but, well, you look at their injured list. Kevin Mitchell, Barry Larkin, Bobby Kelly, Pip Roberts, Willie Green. All disabled at the moment, and that's virtually the heart of their team. Glavine ready to go to work, and we are underway, and the first pitch is strike. Brumfield 2 out of 6 in his career against the Atlanta left-hander. The 0-1. Line, center field, base hit. A typical Glavine start, eh? Brumfield is aboard. He's 16 out of 24 in the stolen base department, and he really hasn't played that much. Brumfield is participating in only his 91st game, so you can look for him to do some running as Thomas Howard comes in. He came over from Cleveland, hit .236 over there. He's hitting .254 with the Reds.
It sounds familiar. Maybe you will remember him with the San Diego Padres. He was swapped over to Cleveland right in the middle of the season last year for a couple of minor leaguers. Stayed a year in Cleveland, now he's with the Reds.
Came over in the Randy Milligan trade in August. Throw to first, and the runner is back. Pendleton in close at third base. Howard has good running speed. He's a switch hitter. He bats right against the southpaw. He's hitting just .095 as a Red, as a right-hand hitter, hitting .320 as a left-hand hitter, so it's a little surprising that he's in there. But Davy Johnson trying to find out about the future, I would guess. Pop foul back and out of play. Seriously, in the new edition of Baseball America that just hit the newsstands, an article about television producers and directors, and our Glenn Diamond is prominently featured, along with Arnie Harris of Chicago and the folks at ESPN. Very is interesting the word I'm looking for? Interesting reading? Probably not.
No.
That's good. Throw to first. Runner back. Glenn is quoted in the article as saying, some days it's a hard job and some days it aren't, so we've dedicated ourselves to making it as hard a job as possible for the rest of the year. Pick it up, you'll enjoy it. The 0-1 pitch. He bunts back toward the mound. Good bunt. Barry Hill out and throwing. Got him by a step. It's a 2-3 sacrifice. Brumfield to second with 1 out. I don't know if Davy Johnson called that or if he was bunting on his own, but he did get the runner into scoring position for Reggie Sanders.
Well, the infield wasn't in, and you got Glavine, a left-hander, who falls toward third base. I think he was going to try to push that out past Tom, maybe towards second, but he got a pitch in on him. Still, he accomplished something. He did get the runner in scoring position.
Glavine 18-5, a 3.22 earned run average. Boy, if you had a vote for the Cy Young Award, who in the world would you vote for?
You got to chop it up right now.
You cannot ignore the years that Burkett and Swift have had in San Francisco. Mark Portugal's 15-4 at Houston. They do not give him a sacrifice on that play, feeling that he was bunting for a hit, so that counts as a time at bat against Howard. Belliard in behind the runner, but he scampers back. There's a possibility. Greg Maddux a possibility. Rob Beck, the Brian Harvey, a couple of savers are possibilities. And you talk to writers, 1-1 the count. And everybody has a different idea as to what the guidelines should be for both the MVP and the Cy Young.
Maybe more so for the MVP than the Cy Young. You can almost go on numbers with the Cy Young. You still get the argument, but the MVP has got to be the most debated award around.
Well, some people say you have to be on a winning team, like a division winner or a team that's in the hunt to the end. If that's the case, Portugal and Harvey are out the window. But if you just go by numbers, then they're very much in the hunt.
Well, it goes back to that argument like Steve Carlton when the Phillies had such a lousy year and he won about, what, 65% of their games?
Runner goes to third. A little tap, gets past Pendleton. Blauser throws back to third. They've got him hung up. Great play by Blauser. Pendleton runs him down, tags him out. A bad bit of base running by Brumfield. An excellent job by Blauser. He had no shot at first base, and he knew it. Runner at second, 2 out. Another example of how you win games.
And another example of what a heady ball player Jeff Blauser is. He knows he's got no shot. He didn't even think first. He kept his eyes right on the base runner, Brumfield. Pendleton was right back there. And that's the way you're supposed to execute a rundown play, too. As few swings, as few throws as possible. Watch him. He takes his eye off the ball and didn't pick up his pitching coach, his third base coach. By the time he did, tried to throw on brakes, and he's hung up. That's good defensive baseball.
If you're not going to look to the coach till after you round the bag, then no use looking for him at all. He can't help you then. Fast strike outside corner, 0-1. The runner, Sanders, did get into scoring position.
And he did get an infield single on
as he should have. He took second on the rundown. So a base hit to the outfield would plate him. The 0-1 pitch. It's even now at a ball and a strike. Sabo with 17 homers, 74 RBI, and a .270 average. Will he be back next year in Cincinnati? Nobody really knows what's going to happen with this team. The general manager has been under the gun. The owner, Marge Schott, has by executive fiat been a non-issue this year, but she'll be back. 2 balls, 1 strike. Curve hit on the ground to short. Braves should be out of the inning. Blauser throws. Inning over. So Glavine wiggles out of a first inning trouble spot with some heady defense helping him along the way. 2 hits, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the first, no score.
The Reds come up empty. Here come the Braves, and here's the batting order. It's going to be Nixon leading it off, followed by Blauser and then Gant. Fred McGriff in the cleanup spot. Justice 5th, Pendleton 6th. The final 3, Damon Berryhill, Rafael Belliard, and Tom Glavine. Defensively, the Reds will line up with Howard in left, Brumfield in center, and Sanders in right. The infield has Sabo Branson, Samuel, and Morris. Joe Oliver behind the plate, and Bobby Ayala on the mound. There you have a look at the right-hander. He has been a starter and a reliever, but I think if you ask him, a lot of home runs in a few innings, pretty good control. I think if you ask him, he would much rather relieve than start. His numbers a little bit more impressive as a reliever. 3.4, not an altogether bad earned run average, but as a starter, twice as high.
Reds have lost 3 in a row, 8 of their last 11. Ayala out of Ventura, California.
I think he's from Loyola Marymount. Marymount College. Did he go to school at Loyola Marymount?
No, he lives in Oxnard. Graduated from Rio Mesa High School, but I don't see anything about any college for the young man. He's 6-7, a 4.73, 0-1 this year and lifetime against Atlanta. Otis Nixon leads it off and takes a fastball high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Otis at 253 on the year. That's in there, and the count evens. A ball and a strike.
He's got good delivery, good mechanics. Pulls off the ball a little bit, Skip, so you should expect to see it run in on righties and run away from lefties. Not much sink on it, though. There's one there that's a little bit more of a sinker than we've seen out of him normally.
2 balls, 1 strike.
He needs to keep the ball down, and he needs to change speeds. He can't rely on just the fastball.
Look how that infield is jumbled up when Nixon hit it. High chop to short. Branson can't make the play. See how they score it. With a slower runner, he makes that play because he doesn't have to rush the ball. It's a hit.
That's got to be a base hit. He's going to get caught in between here. If he lays back and plays that hop right there, he's not going to get Nixon anyway. One of those do-or-die deals right up off the heel of his glove. Came close to pulling it out. As a matter of fact, I think he thought he had it in the glove. But a good start for Nixon and the Braves.
And Jeff Blauser stands in there. He's hitting at .305 with 14 homers. He's driven in 58 runs. That's a strike. It's 0-1. Limited upper pavilion tickets remain for tomorrow night's game with the Reds. And tickets are available for the New York, Houston, and Colorado series as well. But not a whole lot. I would act quickly if I were you, if I wanted to catch the Braves this year. Lined on the right field line. Foul. That might have scored a run the way Nixon can pedal, but Blauser just missed. Extra bases. I guess had it been a fair ball, Hal Morris would have caught it. 0-2 the count. It's a final first game of the Twin Bill in Colorado. 9-4 Rocky.
Yeah, they got snowed out last night.
It went from 92 to 29 or something like that. One 12-hour period. Hope Milo and the guys brought long johns. There goes the runner. There's the throw, and they got him. And I tell you what, Oliver made a great play there. He had a tough pitch to handle, a fast runner going, and he accomplished everything he set out to do. A good play.
Well, you teach a catcher a lot of things. You want him to take the one step and throw, but you also want him to throw short arm, not really a long arm. And look how quickly he unloaded it. Right on the money. Samuel was there, and there goes Nixon.
Otis now 40 of 51 on the year. 2-2 is the count to the Atlanta shortstop. Blauser hitting at .305. He is in his last 96 at bats hitting at a .375 clip. A grounded foul past third base coach Jimmy Williams. Pat Corrales coaches over at first. If you're interested in tickets for those remaining games, 249-6400 or 1-800-326-4000, the numbers. The 2-2 pitch. High and inside. It's 3-1. Rather 3-2, excuse me. Full count on Blauser. There's your on-deck hitter, Ron Gant. He has a couple of 2-home run games against the Reds to his credit. The payoff to Blauser. Fouled to the screen. It's still 3-2. Payoff pitch. Fouled away again. And again, the payoff pitch to the Atlanta shortstop. He drew a walk. So the Blouse is aboard with one away, and Gant the batter. He had a big series in San Diego, driving in 9 runs. He's hitting .273. 105 is his career high in runs driven in. So he's a lead pipe cinch to pass that this year. Or so you would think. Reds here again tomorrow. That game will be on Sports South. We'll be back with you Thursday night here. We'll be here Friday night against the Mets. Saturday afternoon's game will be on CBS. And Sunday night's game is on something, but not us. That's on ESPN. And that is an 8:05 game on Sunday night. They play them that late so to make sure the kids can't watch the game. They don't want anybody to do anything silly like develop fans for the future. The pitch is fouled back, and the count goes to 1-1. Fred McGriff would be next. A ball and a strike. Blauser is chased back. Jeff 14 out of 19 in the stolen base department. Bobby Ayala gets ready. The Braves have had good luck against the Reds this year. 7-3. Gant hits it on the ground into left field. Blauser has to stop at second, so Ayala hasn't gotten anybody out yet. Joe Oliver threw out a runner, but the pitcher hasn't gotten anybody. Here's McGriff.
Getting a lot of pitches up in the strike zone. You can get away with fastballs up in the strike zone, but that time he changed his whole motion. He threw Gant an off-speed pitch, so with a bad motion and it up in the strike zone, he's lucky Gant didn't hit it in the seats.
McGriff has had pretty good luck against this young man. 2 out of 5, a home run included. Joe Oliver to the mound for a word with his pitcher.
Ayala has also pitched McGriff carefully, Skip. He's walked him 3 times, too. So he's been on base 5 out of 8 times that he has faced Ayala.
David Justice waits to hit next. That's another argument you hear from writers is about McGriff and Justice. Which of them should be MVP or should it be Barry Bonds? You can make an argument for all 3. Fast strike at the knees, 0-1. Blauser leads from second, Gant from first. High and outside.
McGriff has put some points on the board since he's been here, and he's done a good job at first defensively. But look at the impact he has had on some other people in the lineup. Gant's average up 31 points. Justice is up 60 and about 45 there for Terry Pendleton. So not only has he driven them in, but he's helped everybody else.
Fastball is low. It's 2-1.
When you're talking MVP, how can you leave out Lenny Dykstra, too?
Well, that's right. We get so involved in tunnel vision in our division, but they are playing over there, too, aren't they? 2 balls, 1 strike. Lined into center field. On the run is Brumfield. Can't get there. 1 run is hit. Gant is around third. He will score. It's a double for McGriff. Braves lead. Ayala still hasn't gotten anybody out. It's 2-0.
And he's just throwing some pitches right where they're swinging. When you talk to Fred McGriff, he says he tries to hit down on the ball. That gives it backspin and carry. That's how that ball got to the wall so quickly. I don't think he hit it on the fat of the bat, but it had such good carry. That's 2 more RBIs for him. That gives him 86. Outside shot at 100 this year.
Ayala to Justice. Strike called. Breaking ball outside corner. Terry Pendleton moves on deck. Braves have the lead again. Braves are playing now like the Giants played earlier this year, jumping on top early. That almost made the backstop. He doesn't appear to have it in gear yet. A ball and a strike to count. Al tells us Braves have scored first in their last 11 games. That's very similar to the Giants earlier in the year. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jose Vizcaíno, the big hero for the Cubs last night, with 4 RBIs. My dad keeps this up, and I'll keep him in the inheritance. Threw the fastball right by him. 2-2. Runner at second, 1 out, 2 in. Phillies and Mets scoreless, bottom of the second. That game's in Shea Stadium. Strike 3 called at the knees, inside corner. David knew it. Ayala records his first strikeout, second out of the inning, and Pendleton the batter.
That's the first good job he's done against the hitter. He set him up with a good fastball away. He got an off-speed pitch over for a strike. Then he came down and in and ran it right over the inside corner, a la Greg Maddux. It definitely was high enough to be a strike.
So Pendleton will try to pick him up with a 2-out hit here. 2-0 Atlanta in the first. Low and away, 1 ball, no strikes. In fairness to the Reds, their luck the last 2 years, as far as injuries concerned, just incredible. Incredibly bad. The disabled list and the Reds are very close friends. A ball and a strike. Boy, that's scary. It's not Davy Johnson's fault, and it wasn't Tony Perez's fault either. You got to look elsewhere for the Reds' problem. Breaking ball over the outside corner, and it's 1-2. 2-3-0 for Atlanta. 0-2-0 for Cincinnati. Tom Glavine seeks his 19th victory of the year. Pendleton out of the batter's box. They play him straight away in center, but their left fielder Howard is way around into left center. A lot of room down the left field line for Pendleton. And Howard plays him very shallow, too. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now Oliver and Ayala can't get together. Let's see. This is game number 145. You'd think they'd know it by now. 15 different players have been on the disabled list for the Reds this year, and some of them have been very, very good players. Guys like Larkin and Roberts, and not just for 15 days, but out for months.
And listen to the ones that are out for the rest of the season. Bill Landrum out for the rest of the season. Steve Foster, John Smiley, 2 guys that were counted on to be starting pitchers there. Bobby Kelly out for the rest of the year. Bill Roberts out for the rest of the year. Barry Larkin for the rest of the year. Willie Green and Kevin Mitchell now.
The 2-2 fouled it back. They have had their projected starting lineup. The lineup they felt when they left spring training would be the lineup that they would go with on the field together just 5 times all year long. And for that, they fired a manager.
Yeah, when they fired him, the ball club was 4 games under 500. And like you said, it's not J.B. Johnson's fault. He's managed them 2 games under 500.
The 2-2 high and away, full count. Damon Berryhill waits on deck. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The payoff pitch to the Atlanta third baseman. He laid off. It was high and away. Second walk for Ayala, who has not had a stellar first inning. Damon Berryhill has faced him once and got a hit. He'd like to continue that trend. The switch hitter bats left against the right-hander. Rafael Belliard moves on deck. Berryhill's had a good solid year. 242, 7 homers. High pop into short right field. Who wants it? The center field Brumfield in right center makes the catch, and the inning is over, but not before the Braves score 2 times on 3 hits. No errors, a couple of runners left, and after 1, Atlanta 2, Cincinnati nothing. We go to the second inning. Hal Morris will lead it on for the Reds, the former University of Michigan performer. He's back from the disabled list, missed most of the first half of the season. He's hitting .300, 4 homers, 38 runs driven in, part of the capacity crowd on hand at the old ball yard tonight. You know, we mentioned the games that will not be televised on TBS. If you're in the Southeast, we hope you'll give a listen to the Braves' far-flung radio network. It's okay if you watch the games on Sports South and listen to Ernie and Ernie, but on the other ones, just turn down the sound and turn up the radio. Pitch to Morris is outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody on, nobody out, second inning.
This guy missed 56 ball games because of an injury. Without the fantastic year that Bonds has had, pencil him in as a guy who's going to compete for the batting title, I think. He is a good hitter. He's a very patient hitter. Like Mark Gray, stays back, goes into the ball, drives it.
Not, however, in the mold you really want at first base, because like Mark Grace, he doesn't have a whole lot of power.
Dave Magadan, another guy.
Upstairs, 2-1. But if you hit 300, you're on base enough to score a lot of runs, and you get enough hits to drive in a few. A foul back and out of play.
Normally they tell you if you're a hitter, Skip, to settle into a comfortable stance in the batter's box, dig the back foot in, but watch Morris. He's got happy feet. He moves 2 or 3 times before he really settles into how he's going to hit.
Curve stayed a little high. I guess it was close. Tom Hellion calling the balls and strikes tonight. The count goes to 3-2. 3-2. Not 3 or 2. It's 3-2. Now it's 3-3, and he's out of there. Glavine records his first strikeout, and Joe Oliver, the batter.
You don't see Morris do this too much. He usually puts the ball in play, but this is one heck of a curveball. He starts it off over the plate about belt high and then breaks it down about knee high. To a low ball hitter, it looks like a good pitch to hit.
Joe Oliver has driven in 73 runs this year. He's hitting .241. He has caught a lot of games. Oliver's been in 124 games. He's batted 432 times. And he's had a very solid season for him.
Braves giving him a little payback, though. Remember how well he hit the Braves last couple of years?
His most memorable hit against the Braves was that grand slam homer in the first inning back in '91 with Rijo pitching. He thought, no chance. That's one where Justice hit the dramatic homer. Took a little something off, and the count goes to 2-1. Dan Regan, our director tonight. And Mr. Publicity, Glenn Diamond, is our producer. Chop to second. Belliard has it. 2 down. And Juan Samuel, the batter. Juan is hitting .226. He has 4 homers and just 21 RBIs. 11 out of 45 against Tom Glavine, but 2 of his hits home runs against the Atlanta Southpaw. One ball, no strikes. Out in front, pitch tailed away from him. A ball and a strike.
That's the kind of swing that allows a pitcher like Tom Glavine to make a very comfortable living. The one where the head goes left and everything pulls off, and here's a nice little changeup on the outside corner. He has really matured into a very dependable top-of-the-line pitcher.
Some people low rate him a little bit because he doesn't lead the league in strikeouts and all that stuff, but 18-5. Not many better than that. That's well hit down the right side and into the corner. Look at Samuel run. He can still dig. He's not going to try, is he? He is. He should be out. And he is, and the inning is over. Well, I tried to tell him, but he wouldn't listen. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the second. Braves 2, Reds 2-0.
Good pitching, good offense, and good defense wins ball game. This is a sure double, but watch this. Textbook. Justice hits the cutoff man. The cutoff man makes a perfect throw to third. Samuel, minus a pretty good clue right there, didn't even look up. He's headed. He didn't pick up a coach or anything. Once that ball is at his back, he's got to look at the coach. And what do they say? You don't want the first or last out at third base?
Their base running has been an adventure already tonight. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. Rafael Belliard will lead it off. And he chops one over Sabo's head. Since being inserted in the starting lineup, he's hitting .350, 7 out of 20. And most of it on the first pitch.
And see how he's crossing the defense a little bit? Now, they normally shade him around the other way, come in at third. He looks for a pitch to pull on the first pitch, and every now and then he gets it.
And you people who like art objects down in Boca Raton, don't forget Raphael's shop in the Sandalfoot Plaza. Rafael Belliard's Stadium Arts. Runner at first, nobody out. We got a lot of tycoons on this team. Ed Yost got a clothing store, Major League Image. Otis Nixon opening an electronics store. Glavine bunts foul.
You're opening a producer consulting school, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yes. Glavine stands back in there. We're in the second inning. He took a strike. He thought it was high, and he's in the hole 0-2. The count. See if he's hacking or bunting. He's bunting, and he's out. Glavine fails to advance the runner, and that's unusual for Atlanta pitchers. Second strikeout for Ayala, and Otis Nixon, the batter. He legged out an infield hit his first time.
Yeah, they have 40 sacrifice hits, does the pitching staff, and Glavine usually numbers among the best.
Nixon stands in there. I have a question for you, sir. And it even has to do with baseball.
Wow.
All the great teams you played on and have seen, how does this team match up on paper?
I think the way it's playing the second half, I believe the best ball club I was on was the 1982 Brewers ball club. I think that they could score runs in so many ways, had decent pitching and great defense. I think at this ball club,
Curve in there for a strike. It's 1-1.
maybe just a little shy of that ball club, 1 through 8 in their capacity to score runs, but it's a better defensive ball club, and you can't get 4 better starting pitchers. And the bullpen has now come together, and everybody has a role, and they're doing it well. I'd have to list this as 1 or 2 of the best I was ever around.
I think all of us, when you're close to the situation and know people personally, you don't really stand back and look at it that way. But when you do, this is an awfully good team, folks. The 1-1 pitch. High and away. It's 2-1. Right now, the question on everybody's mind is the pennant race and winning the division and then taking your chances in the playoffs and hopefully the World Series. But the interesting story of the winter is going to be the answer to the question, can they keep this club together because of economics?
And if you do that, what do you do with those youngsters that have done everything they can do in the minors?
2 balls, 1 strike. Not many people thinking about that right now, but I know one guy. That's John Sherhouse.
Yes.
Thinking about it a lot.
Well, John cannot afford the luxury of sitting back and enjoying this for a very long period because there are so many decisions that that have to be made.
2 balls, 1 strike. 1 on, 1 out. Pitch out, nothing happening. Boy, they had to be awfully sure. Ayala struggling with his control. He's walked 2 already, and now he's 3-1 on Nixon. They thought they were sure, and they weren't.
They either thought they had the signs or they were guessing hit and run because it was a 2-1 situation. If you read the stat sheet, you know Belliard, I can't remember the last time Raphael tried to steal a base.
There he goes, and the pitch is low, and that's ball 4, and that's 3 walks. So the failed sacrifice means absolutely nothing. The Reds moved the runner down on their own volition. And here's Blauser, who walked and scored his first time.
Skip, I agree that there are some things that you call from the dugout. A manager likes to have the part of the game in his control, but I believe that we run through times where there is entirely too much dictated to a pitcher. You're the guy holding the ball out there, and the game's right in your hands. Here's a guy struggling, trying to find the plate. All of a sudden, he's put in a 3-1 count that he didn't want. Makes his job a lot harder.
There's a drive, but it's curving. Foul ball. Plenty of distance, but he hit it foul. A noisy strike 1 to Blauser. The Giants and Cubbies start at 10:35 Eastern Time in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Oh, and 1 the count. The runners lead. Strike 2 call. Breaking ball over the outside corner. So Blauser is quickly in the hole.
I know Ayala's got a lot on his mind right now, but he is coming so close to balking. Or he has on the last couple of pitches.
That's all he needs. Now he's calling timeout to tie his shoe. Put that one over, wrap it around. There you go. Very good.
Hold tight. Pretty red shoes, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you try to steal third and the game on the line, you get thrown out, you're berated, and we all write about it. But I think there ought to be something if a manager or coach calls a pitch out and nobody's running, that's overlooked.
Herb outside almost to the backstop. Well, I don't know that it was the dugout, but you would guess that it was on a 2-1 pitch.
You know, I cannot remember. Bob Boone is the only guy I can ever remember calling a pitch out on his own or being afforded the luxury of calling a pitch out on his own.
That, too, is unfortunate, I think.
I do, too.
It's like quarterbacks not calling their own games. We are not exactly zipping along here. It's the bottom half of the second inning.
He's not saying I'm loco. What he was saying is let's go over the signs again.
Or let's get out of here, one or the other. Jeff fights it off. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Belliard leads away at second and Nixon at first. Starter to go, held up 2-2. Blauser takes a look at his third base coach, Jimmy Williams, but Jimmy can't give him much help on a 2-2 pitch. Ron Gant is the Atlanta on-deck hitter. He was 0-2. Now he's 3-2. Do you send the runners? We're about to find out.
Ayala is a guy that's got to be tough to work behind the plate with because most guys settle into one half of the strike zone. They're either working inside or outside, or they're working up or down, and you can almost figure it out. But Ayala has gotten the ball up. He's thrown good pitches down. He's thrown it inside and outside. So as an umpire, you can't settle and look for a ball in one half of the strike zone.
They're running, and Blauser hits another one foul. It's still 3-2. Jimmy Williams makes the play and flips it out of play. Well, they ran on that 3-2 pitch, so you figure they'll do it again. Blauser does strike out a good bit. Jeff has been out on strikes 94 times this year. Gant leads the club with 100. McGriff 92. Justice just 77. The runners lead. Nixon will get a huge jump as Morris plays behind him. The 3-2 inside, and he's walked him, and the bases are loaded. That's 4 walks for Ayala in the game, and the Braves right now have a chance to put this one in the books. Don Gullett on his way to the mound, the pitching coach of the Reds. He had him 0-2 and let him get away. So Gant, who singled his first time, will be the batter. No activity in the Cincinnati bullpen, which is surprising in itself. Ayala has given up 4 hits and 4 walks, and is very fortunate, really, to be behind just 2-0. And now Tom Hallion, the home plate umpire, goes to the mound and is going to ask Gullett to take a hike.
If you're Don Gullett coming out there now, unless you have spotted something mechanically that would cause him not to be able to throw it where he wants it, the only thing you can do is go out and hold a pep rally. Convince him that his stuff is good enough that he's got to throw it in the strike zone. Take your chances with it. Unfortunately, with the bases loaded and Gant there, that may be a tough sell right now.
Well, if he lets up a little bit, Mr. Gant will be right in the running for the league lead in RBIs. He's got 100. David has 106. Bases loaded, 1 out. Nothing. Grand slam. First regular season grand slam for Gant. He hit one in the playoffs. Now he has 104 RBIs. He's 2 out of 2, and the Braves are breezing behind Glavine 6-0.
Well, I think he said, I'm going to get a strike. First pitch, belt high, right down the middle. If you're Gant, you've got to be looking for that pitch. You've got to be looking for a strike, and he got it.
McGriff takes a strike. It's 0-1. A curtain call for Gant. The crowd still on their feet. Nothing in the second. Line drive, left center. How far will that roll? To the wall again. And McGriff stands at second with a double. There's still no action in the Cincinnati bullpen.
Unless you are trying to break a guy's spirit, or unless you're trying to get him out of the organization, you can't leave the guy out there to get beat up like this.
I mean, he has got nothing. 6 hits, 4 walks, 6 runs, second inning.
Even the bullpen itself is restless, but till that phone rings, you can't go warm up on your own. But this young man is taking a beating.
Here's David Justice. Almost to the backstop. 1 ball, no strikes. There goes a catcher to the bullpen. Dan Wilson. That's a promising start. Bounce foul. David out on strikes his first time. It's a right-hander up and throwing. Mike Anderson is the youngster who's getting ready for the Reds. 6-0 Atlanta. Ron Gant, a grand slam. Fred McGriff, a 2-run double. There's a line drive into right center, but Brumfield will make the catch. Another ball hit like a rifle bullet. 2 down for Pendleton. You feel sorry for Ayala. I mean, every pitcher who's ever pitched has had nights like this.
His stuff is not that bad. What you would almost guess after all these good swing, Skip, is that he's tipping his pitches some way. He may be doing something that is letting the Braves hitters know what's coming, because they're taking swings on off-speed pitches as though they know what's coming and where.
Well, we know where a lot of them are going, and that's either into the alleys or over the fence. So Pendleton stands in there. High and away. 1 ball, no strikes. He cannot put the ball where he wants to put it tonight. Starter to go, stopped. It's high, and it's 2-0. Justice now with 106 RBIs. Gant with 104. Bonds with 102. Darren Dalton with 99 and Matt Williams 98. Those are the leaders in the National League. 2 balls, no strikes. Let up is in there. It's 2-1.
The Ayala we're watching tonight is a 2-pitch pitcher, a fastball and then some change of speeds pitch. He really doesn't have a breaking ball. He doesn't have something to go in on lefties with. So they can just sit there and fire away at it, and he doesn't have anything to really go away from right-handers with.
3-1.
It's hard to pitch right. You can pitch like that, but you need a cut fastball or you need a lively fastball to run in on left-handed hitters. His fastball, a sinking one and one that tails, is going right back out into the hitting area.
Phillies lead the Mets 2-1 after 3. Montreal and St. Louis scoreless after 1. On the corner, the count is full. 3-2 to Pendleton. Six hits, 4 walks, 6 runs given up by Ayala, and we're in the 2nd inning. There's his 5th walk. And the 9th man to bat in the inning is Damon Berryhill. But Davy Johnson is on his way, and that'll do it for Ayala. And this might be one of those when the manager gets there where the pitcher says, "What took you so long?" Because it was not his night. That's all there is to it. Mike Anderson gets the call out of the Reds bullpen. He'll inherit a 2-on, 2-out situation. He'll also inherit a 6-0 deficit. We'll be back to the ballpark right after this. Anderson on to pitch for the Reds. 6'3", 205-pounder out of Austin, Texas. Signed by Chuck Lamar, who now heads up scouting for the Atlanta Braves. Anderson was at Chattanooga last year, had a terrific year, 13-7. This year he pitched at Indianapolis, where he was 10-6 and ranked 4th in the American Association with 111 strikeouts. And he'll face Damon Berryhill with 2 on and 2 out. Normally, when we face a guy we haven't seen before, we struggle a little bit. Let's see what happens with Anderson. Ayala went an inning and 2/3, 6 hits, 6 runs to this point, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a homer. So Anderson ready to go to work. Chuck Lamar is over there with John Sherrills. That's got to be a funny feeling when you signed a guy, you're rooting for him to do well to prove you were right, but he's now doing it against your team. Anderson delivers, swung, fly ball foul to left and out of play, 0-1. He's out of Southwestern University, is Mike Anderson. Chuck Lamar is in the back row with John Sherrills, and the guy with the large forehead is Braves president Stan Kasten. The 0-1. Breaking ball, a good one, but not in the strike zone. It's even now, a ball and a strike. Braves lead it 6-0. We're still in the 2nd inning, but that's okay. One and 2 to count to the Atlanta catcher. Man who heads up CNN Sports, Bill McPhail, out here at the ballpark tonight. What a terrific guy he is. A ball and 2 strikes. Got him with a good breaking ball, and the inning comes to a close, but not before the Braves score 4 times. They do it on 3 hits. Gant slammed the big blow. No errors, 2 left. At the end of 2, Atlanta 6, Cincinnati nothing.
End of 2, 6-0 Braves. This telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club and is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
And in the jurisprudence department tonight, the National League has announced it has suspended Cubs pitcher Frank Castillo and Phillies infielder Mariano Duncan 3 games each for their part in a bench-clearing brawl. Good play, Belliard, 1 out. Jeff Branson is retired. And Anderson will hit. The American League president, Bobby Brown, suspended designated hitter George Bell of the White Sox for 2 games for charging the mound against the Red Sox. Meanwhile, back on the field, Dave Winfield, 3 shy of 3,000 hits. Anderson takes a strike. It's 0-1, and life is good for Tom Glavine. A beautiful house, a lovely wife,
And
an 18-5 record, and a 6-0 lead on a first-place team. And a pitcher hitting, and it's 0-2.
You know, we might remind people, Skip, we told them last week that if indeed this ended in a tie, there would be a 1-game playoff. That coin toss has taken place, and the San Francisco Giants have won the right to host that if there is one.
Little tap. Glavine, good play, barehanded. That would have been a tough play had he had to go with his glove, but he threw him out, 2 down. Well, we finally found something John Schuerholz is not good at. He's not good at coin flips.
I wonder who got the call. Who got the call first?
That may be worth a talking head interview on the field or something before our next game.
Nah, wait till Joe and Pete open.
Top of the order, Jacob Brumfield will be the batter. When we get over to radio, we'll find out and report back about who got the call. Before we cover everything, one way or the other. 1 ball, no strikes to count. 2 out, nobody on.
Calling in life.
Yes, it is.
To do it.
2-0. Brumfield, a solid single to start the game. High chop off the plate. It will roll foul. And it took a terrible bounce. In the process, 2-1 the count. Just thumbing through Baseball America here.
What page did you settle on?
Page 10 is his page. The 2-1 pitch. Fly ball foul. It's 2-2. Glenn's very upset. They have a bigger picture of Arnie Harris, who directs the games for the Cubs, than they have of him. Two, the count. Just missed a little high. He can challenge him with a fastball in a 6-0 ball game. Crowd gave Gant a tremendous ovation, by the way, when he trotted out to the field for this top of the 3rd. Up the middle, headed for center field. That'll get through. A 2-out hit for Brumfield. He's 2 out of 2. And Thomas Howard will be the batter.
But Glavine is doing what you like to see a guy do with a 6-run lead. He's throwing strikes. Every hitter has an area that you normally worry and you don't want to throw the ball there, but when you get 6 runs, you can shrink that area and make the strike zone bigger and make the area you're going to pitch in bigger.
It says in that announcement that the 1-game playoff, if there is one, would be played Monday evening. That surprises me. I thought that was always a day game.
Bigger television market.
We cannot televise it, I know that. They stretched the pitch. Swung and missed. Howard bunted his first time, was thrown out by Berryhill. He was not given a sacrifice. Don, your pal, the hot dog lady, making the rounds right down below us here.
Big Owl painted on her bag.
Looped into right field. That's trouble. It's going to drop in front of Justice, and runners on the corners with 2 out. They throw behind Howard, but he scampers back safely. So 2 out trouble for Glavine. A solid hit for Brumfield, a little bloop for Howard. And Reggie Sanders, the batter, he singled his first time. An infield hit. Sanders has had a good solid year. 284, 18 homers, 75 RBI. Bobby Valentine coaches at third. Jose Cardinal at first for the Reds. Two on, 2 out. Sanders out of Florence, South Carolina. Hit hard. Belliard never misses, and the inning is over. 2 hits, no runs, no errors, 2 left. Bottom of the third. Braves 6. Reds nothing.
Bottom of the third, Braves on top. Time for our Aflac trivia question, and here it is. What's the major league record for most players with 100-plus RBIs in a season playing on the same team? Stick around. We'll have the answer for you in a little while. But now, back to Skip's reading room and more from
That was just
Baseball America.
Just reading the Glenn Diamond story between innings, but now Rafael Belliard leads off the bottom of the third. He jumps on the first one again, fouls it away, 0-1. Nobody on, nobody out. Ron Gant has a grand slam. Fred McGriff a 2-run double, and the Braves enjoy a 6-0 lead. The 0-1 pitch. Curve drops in there. Mike Anderson looks like he's got good stuff, and he's been a winner wherever he's gone.
Been a guy that struck out a lot of guys, but he's also walked a lot of people in the minor league career.
Comes inside to Rafael Belliard. A ball and 2 strikes.
Good easy motion, doesn't force the ball. And he throws something you don't see a lot, that straight down, downer curveball, the one we used to call a drop.
The pitch. Curve, fly ball left field, pretty well hit. Howard drifts back and puts it away, 1 down. So Belliard is retired, and Tom Glavine will be the batter. You look at Anderson's numbers after his rookie year in '88 when he played in the rookie league. 89 in Greensboro, 11-6. 90 in Cedar Rapids, 10-5. 91 in Chattanooga, 10-9. 92 in Chattanooga, 13-7. Led the league in wins and in shutouts with 4. And a good solid AAA year this year. He's a guy I'm sure they're counting heavily on in the future.
And probably as a starter. Most of his work in his minor league career has been as a starting pitcher. As a matter of fact, he's had very few relief appearances.
Up the middle, Branson diving, stop, can't make the play. It'll be a hit. He made a fine play, but when he hit the deck, he knocked the ball out of his glove.
First pitch fastball, Glavine right on top of it. Branson dives here, but he's not going to throw out Glavine anyway. That's one of those you give him E for effort. You like the all-out hustle, but that's a base hit any way you cut it.
Otis Nixon has singled. He has walked. He has scored a run. It's a bloodthirsty crowd here. The chop is underway, and they want more. Low and inside, 1 ball, no strikes. 6-7-0 for the Braves, 0-5-0 for the Reds. The first wave of the night being started out in the outfield. A little bit low, 2-0. Now it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Toronto and Detroit having a wild one. They're 5-5, bottom of the third. Baltimore leads Boston 2-1 after 4. Yankees and Milwaukee 3-3 after an inning and a half. The count on Nixon goes to 2-2. Chicago got a run in the first at Kansas City. Cleveland failed to score in the first. At Texas, some good pennant races still underway, including in the National League West. Curve tap to the mound. Out there. Safe there. He can really run. 1-6 force on Glavine. Nixon is at first with 2 out for Jeff Plauser, who has walked twice and has scored twice.
Anderson played this almost casually. Watch him turn a couple of steps, throws the ball to the shortstop side. If he unloads in a hurry and gets it across the bag, maybe they could have gotten Nixon, but when he's on that left-handed batter's box, he gets down there quick anyway, but he's already 2 steps closer.
Plauser and Gant have each scored 98 runs this year to lead the Braves. McGriff has scored 95 times. Justice has tallied 78 runs. Pendleton 71. Otis Nixon 59. For the first, he's back there. They got it going now, Don, huh?
That's right, Skip.
The stretch. The pitch to Jeff Plauser.
They had a great one. They started them going in opposite directions, and they ran together and put each other out. It was perfect.
Tom and the Wave just don't see eye to eye. It's funny, after all the years you spent in California, you think Waves would be... And your hair.
A lot of things I don't see eye to eye on because of all the years.
I know all about that. 1-1, but with your hair, you've got a wave there. You lived by all those waves? And
see, that's a permanent wave. These are semi-permanent boredom waves.
I see. 1-1 the count. Curve outside. It's 2-1. Two balls, one strike. High pop. Samuel is there, and the inning is over. So the Braves are finally halted in the third. 1 hit, no runs. No errors, 1 left. We've played 3 with your score. Atlanta 6, Cincinnati nothing. We go to the 4th inning. Braves breezing to this point. Our Aflac trivia question tonight. Major League record for most players, 100+ RBIs in a season on the same team. And the answer is 5, the 1936 Yankees. And they're very lucky, those 1936 Yankees. They would have never had that many if they would have had the hit against Don Sutton.
Hey, well, thank you. They probably had 6 or 7. We played 3. It's 6-0. 6 runs, 7 hits for the Braves. No runs, 5 hits. Tom Glavine has allowed base runners every inning, but he's made the pitches that he's had to. Sabo, Morris, and Oliver, first 3 due up for the Cincinnati Reds. Ball 1 misses outside. You know, I know you can back off just a little bit now, Skip, and give you a little more time to read, but if you run across anything you think we should know. 2-0 to Sabo. Just jump right in anywhere.
No, that's okay. The game is the thing.
Tonight?
Well, for now.
2-0 pitch to Chris Sabo. First time up, grounded to short. Fouls it back into the screen, and it's 2-1. Sabo, another one of those Reds that has spent time on the disabled list. Had a ruptured disc in his back, missed 13 games early in the year. On the ground to Pendleton. Tough chance. Terry short hop throws. Got him. Tough play and a good play by Terry Pendleton. 1 gone.
This team is doing everything well, and as Don pointed out, the defense is the thing we don't talk much about. That was a tough play, and he made it look very easy.
Sometimes in watching these guys, it seems to me the toughest part of that play may not be catching the ball, but having to throw off the wrong foot, make an accurate throw, and get something on it. Pendleton did it there. Here's Morris. Struck out swinging first time. Did it on a good curveball. Takes one there, and it's 0-1. Morris born over in Fort Rucker, Alabama. There's how good the fielding has been. And by the way, that was not a catching throwing error. To left field, Gant got it. That error really wasn't a fielding error. It was a catcher's interference, and according to scoring rules, you have to give an error to the catcher on that. So they have been catching and throwing the ball well for over 8 games now. 2 gone in the 4th inning. Here's Oliver. Did something we don't see him do too often. Hit a ground ball to the right side. Belliard threw him out. He's 0 for 1. Takes another shot to right field. No balls and 1 strike. Glavine misses inside. It's 1-1. Oliver has been in 124 ball games, 432 at bats. As a matter of fact, in this group of players here, only Sabo has played more ball games than has Joe Oliver. This is game number 131 for Chris Sabo.
Did Laney make that play on that ball?
Got him. Perfect pitch by Glavine. Well, Tom has his first 1-2-3 inning. The Reds go quietly here in the 4th inning. He's got a souvenir of some sort. We'll roll around to the bottom of the 4th. And the Braves lead it 6-0. The Braves lead it 6-0. You know what would be a neat idea after maybe we see what Gant does on the first pitch? Maybe we could sneak another look at that grand slam.
That's a good idea, yeah. I didn't know if it was going to make it.
It was high. Just kind of hung up there, but it cleared it with plenty to spare. Gant now with 104 RBIs. Ayala started it. Anderson has come on. There's a strike to Gant. Lo and behold.
Here's that home run you were talking about, huh?
With plenty to spare. This could be another one. Deep to center field. Back goes Brumfield, but he's got room. On the warning track, just shy of the fence, Gant knows he just missed another one. You know your team is on a roll and you're going well when you get standing ovations for outs. Here's McGriff. He's had a good night. He's had a pair of doubles. One of them drove home Blauser and Gant, the first 2 runs of the night for the Braves. Fred now up to 287, 86 RBIs. On the ground, tricky hop for Samuel, but he throws out McGriff. That's 4 in a row set down by Anderson. 2 outs for David Justice. Only Justice and Berryhill, 2 guys in the lineup who early in this ballgame haven't been on base. Justice has struck out. He's flied to center. Nixon a single and a walk. Blauser a couple of walks. Gant a homer and a single. McGriff a couple of doubles. Ball 1 to David. Pendleton a couple of walks. Berryhill a fly out and a strikeout. Belliard a single and Glavine a single. To David. On the ground and through. He joins the hit parade. That's 8 hits for the Braves. It'll put Justice at first with 2 outs for Terry Pendleton. We want to send along some best wishes and a big hello to some Braves fans down in Satellite Beach, Florida. The Shane Lawrence family looking in. Rooting for the Braves as they always do. 2-0 to Pendleton. Right on by him. It's 2-1. The next one misses inside. Pendleton one ball away from drawing his third consecutive walk. To right field and gone. No walking this time. He can run slow if he wants to. A two-run homer for Pendleton. He has 14, and the Braves lead it 8-0.
Seen a team play any better than the Atlanta Braves are playing right now. I mean, every phase of their game is on high.
Here's Berryhill. He takes the first one upstairs, and it's 1-0.
Pitch was upstairs, and that's just where the ball landed, up in the bleachers in deep right center field.
Good fastball from Anderson to count even at 1-1 to Berryhill. One and two.
I got to get on Pendleton. Anybody can hit him with just one man on.
That'll take care of Berryhill. That'll put a lid on the fourth inning for the Braves, but not before they add on two more with one swing of the bat. We have played four. Braves cruising. It's 8-0.
A lot of runs being scored in the American League. A wild one in Detroit where Toronto is playing. The Red Sox have just taken the lead in a game Baltimore can ill afford to lose. Big score in Milwaukee where the Yankees are playing. Oakland and Minnesota just playing because it's scheduled. The White Sox need to win. They're trying to knock Kansas City out of it. No score in Texas. The other game later on, and we go to the fifth.
Where the Braves are leading at 8-0. Tom Glavine fashioning in a 5-hitter. It's going to be Samuel Branson in the pitcher spot. The Reds bullpen is active, so they will most certainly go to a hitter for Anderson. 0-1 to Samuel. First time up, he doubled to right field and ran right into an easy out at third base. 1-1.
Christopher Bushing is throwing in the bullpen.
Off the fist, back our way, and it's 1-2. Well, Uncle Willie has arrived, Skip.
Good.
I just figured out something. Uncle Willie and Tomahawk Tom are one and the same. They must be. You never see them here at the same time.
And we're all thankful for that.
Kind of like Clark Kent and Superman. Or something like that. It's 2-2.
All that and Christopher Bushing in the bullpen as well.
What more could you ask for? Lays off the change, and it's a full count. I would venture to say that Mr. Samuel will get himself a pitch to hit here. Glavine with an 8-0 lead is probably going to put something in the strike zone. He does. It's popped out of play, so you have to do it again. It's 3-2. Braves with 2 in the first, 4 more in the second. Gant's grand slam, and then a 2-run homer off the bat of Terry Pendleton in the bottom of the fourth. 9 hits. Got a piece of it, stays alive, still 3-2. Tough play for Blauser. He'll have to unload in a hurry and decides not to throw. It's an infield single for Samuel.
He never got a good grip on that ball, and rather than risk throwing it in the dugout, conceded what will probably be scored an infield hit. Watch him have a little trouble digging it out here.
Looked like it hit right on the tip of his glove and didn't go right into the pocket. So Samuel's at first. Branson's going to be the hitter. Last time up, he grounded to Belliard. Braves should take that again. To Branson. Tubbs is going to be the pinch hitter in the pitcher spot.
Gregg, a former Braves farmhand.
I would guess Jeff Branson probably, with a few friends and family on the pass list here. 1-1. He is out of Southern Choctaw High School in Silas, Alabama. Played 3 years at Livingston University. All-American as a junior. Division II. He was on the U.S. Olympic baseball team. Tardy on the fastball, and it's 1-2. He, another of the long list of professional athletes whose careers have been helped and extended thanks to Dr. James Anderson, great orthopedic surgeon over in Birmingham, Alabama. 2-2 to Branson. Out of play. I think I said Dr. Jim Anderson is Dr. Jim Andrews. Actually, professionally, probably would rather be referred to as James. It's still 2-2 to Branson. Got him. Good fastball from Glavine. That's strikeout number 3. 1 gone here in the 5th inning.
The way that whole thing went, the good doctor probably wishes you hadn't even brought it up. Then you were trying to be real nice to him.
He's a good guy. He helped my son Darren when he was in college over in Montgomery, Alabama, and I think he's a guy that did surgery on the Warden, baby brother's knee, too. It's all paid for, so this is not a trade-off for it. Here's Tubbs.
Which is a shocking bit of news coming from you.
I learned a lot from Greg Olson. There's a strike to Tubbs, and it's 0-1. Tubbs hitting 200 on the nose, 0 for 8 as a pinch hitter, as Skip told you, a former Braves farmhand. On the ground to Pendleton. Good play. Not in time at first. Boy, that's as close as you can come to turning a double into a double play and not pulling it off. Good play, Terry Pendleton. They get the force at second, 2 gone.
I say again, you just never see a team play better than that. Outstanding play there. Great pivot there. Bad throw. Good scoop here. It's not rewarded with an out, but man, I'll tell you, they are really cooking.
And a good call by Steve Ripley right on top of it there at first base. 2 gone, top of the order. It's Brumfield. He's perfect. 2 for 2. The average up to 281. Glavine's breaking ball misses upstairs. And it's 1-0. Brumfield out of Hammond, Louisiana. I think Skip told you earlier, now spends his offseason here in Atlanta. That'll get out of play, and it'll even it at 1-1. To the screen. Nice try by Barry Hill. That'll probably go as a wild pitch.
And that's where they scored down. It is a wild pitch. We'll see it again. That one slipped on him a little bit and got just off the webbing of Damon's glove.
You know, I think a tendency for base runners when you see a wild pitch is to kind of Cadillac it down the second. It looked like that's kind of what Tubbs had in mind till he realized how close that backstop was here and how quick it gets back to the catcher. Didn't mean to, but it's still 2-2. I love it the way sometimes hitters, when they check swing and it hits it, they punish the bat for doing something stupid.
It's not the bat's fault.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out.
By the way, we had a fox running loose in the ballpark before the game. A 4-legged type animal. Nobody knows how he or she got here.
Brumfield stays alive. Did they remove he or she from the park?
Yes, they did. It took them a long time. One idiot was up there with a broom hitting the thing. That was helpful. Just made it run faster.
That could have hurt poor little animal that meant no harm to anyone. Shallow right, foul territory. McGriff has got a bead on it, and he's got it. The Reds come up empty here in the 5th inning, leave one stranded. We're halfway home. We're going to leave you now. Joe and Pete are coming over, and when they get here, it's going to be 8-0 Braves.
We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. It has been all Atlanta. Ron Gant, a grand slam, 2 RBIs for Fred McGriff, a 2-run homer for Terry Pendleton. And this team, Joe Simpson, may be hitting its peak at just the right time. It looks to me like the strongest Atlanta team we've seen the last 3 years.
Well, it's definitely playing better than any time that I saw the ball club play last year, Pete, in all facets. And we've seen grand slams tonight. Tom Glavine shutting out the Reds. But the defense, too, has been spectacular. That was one of the best relays we've seen all year, from Justice to Belliard to Pendleton, to get Sam well early.
Everything in sync if you're an Atlanta Braves fan right now. We have a new pitcher, rookie right-hander Chris Bushing. And his first pitch to Rafael Belliard is taken for a strike. Bushing is making his 4th appearance for Cincinnati. That's what he did at Double-A this year with 29 saves and 6 wins. Good season, Chattanooga. Quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 on Belliard, who was singled and flied out to left. Bushing came over from the Phillies organization in a trade for Nick Capra. With the Reds, he's worked in 3 games, given up 2 earned runs and an inning and 2/3. That'll be a little bit intimidating when you're brand new to the major leagues to come into this ballpark and face this lineup.
Especially when you've been playing at Chattanooga all year, and the paper's certainly full of a lot of Atlanta Braves news. Not that far from Atlanta, only a couple of hours up the road.
Bushing, 26 years old, and he strikes out Belliard. 1 gone on the bottom of the 5th. Mike Anderson worked 2 1/3, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Starting pitcher Bobby Ayala lasted only an inning and 2/3 and gave up 6 runs. Here's Glavine, who has struck out and singled. Outside corner for a strike, 0-1 on Tom Glavine. Sharply hit deep short. Long throw required from Branson. And Morris with a big stretch, able to hold the bag for out number 2.
Nixon able to backhand this when he knew he had to throw quickly. But look at the help he gets from Hal Morris. Just kept his toe on the bag long enough. Nice call by Steve Ripley, too. This is a good umpiring quartet here this series.
And now Otis Nixon, his 4th plate appearance. We're only in the 5th inning. He has singled, walked, and reached on a force play already. This is almost, Joe, a repeat of Tom Glavine's last start against the Dodgers. Braves getting him a lot of runs early.
Yeah, he had a 6-run lead after 3 innings in Los Angeles. And he said afterwards he was just trying to pitch like he only had a 1-run lead or was even. And he's kind of doing the same thing tonight. He's pitched out of a couple of jams, cruising.
It's 2-0 now, and Otis Nixon. 8 runs, 9 hits for Atlanta, no runs, 6 hits for Cincinnati. The Giants play at home tonight again against the Cubs. That game starts a little over an hour from now.
That ball Terry Pendleton hit tonight, maybe the best ball he's hit all year long.
Tail of the tape estimate 420 feet. On 4 straight, Nixon reaches.
You don't care really how Otis gets on. Just get on base. He's been on 4 times tonight. 2 walks, a hit, and a fielder's choice. And he just puts that threat and puts that pressure on the defense.
And in the San Diego series, just 1 for 16, but he scored 5 runs and stole 4 bases. Blauser has walked twice tonight and popped out. He has scored 2 runs. And he takes the ball outside. Taken for a strike. The count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Bushing, the 3rd pitcher to work tonight for Cincinnati. They're going to finish out the season carrying 15 pitchers. They have called up a lot of youngsters for the final few weeks. That is a fair ball over the bag at 3rd toward the left field corner. Nixon getting to 3rd. They're going to try it. See if the Reds can execute the relay. They can't. The ball trickles away from Sabo. Nixon is in. Blauser all the way around to 3rd. It's 9-0. RBI number 59 for Jeff Blauser.
Pete, Otis Nixon was going to be able to score whether they had a play at the plate or not. This one went right over the bag down into the left field corner. But when Otis rounded second, Juan Samuel got in his way. And Jim Quick, the 3rd base umpire, saw it, pointed to it. And Otis was going to be allowed to score no matter if there was a play or not.
So the beat goes on for Atlanta, 9-0. Blauser the runner at 3rd. Everybody in the lineup now except Damon Berryhill has at least 1 hit in this game. Ron Gant has 2, a single and a grand slam home run. It's even now, 1-1. Justice leads the league. Gant has moved into the number 2 spot. Barry Bonds gets place money right now. The official score giving Blauser a double and charging an error to the left fielder, Thomas Howard, on the throw, allowing Blauser to get to 3rd. He does get an RBI, though. Two-1 to Gant, is outside, 3-1.
They keep talking about a big house cleaning coming in Cincinnati. And I'm not so sure, Pete, that this ball club couldn't put it as good an everyday lineup on the field as anybody. They could get them all healthy.
And that's been their problem this year. 18 different players on the disabled list. They've had to use 50 different players to get through this season. That's a Cincinnati record and just 4 shy of the all-time record. The Mets used 54 players back in 1967.
And that may be why they've got so many of their young pitchers up here now, because they do certainly need some pitching. They've got some guys on the disabled list like Smiley and Browning, Bill Landrum, Steve Foster. But they may want to take a look at some of these young guys, see if they can blend them in with their veteran lineup, see if that will help them out at the start of next season.
McGriff 2 for 3, pair of doubles, pair of RBIs tonight. 0-1 the count. Braves have 10 hits. Reds pitchers have walked 7 in the game now. And it's 0-2 on McGriff.
Brett's got some time. He could get up there near 100 RBIs. He got 2 tonight. He only needs 14. His problem is that of his 33 home runs, 18 have been solo shots.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. High in the air, deep to left center field. Howard going back on the edge of the warning track. He's got it. And that is all for Atlanta in the 5th. But the Braves pick up one more. And we go to the 6th inning. The Braves leading at 9-0.
Braves, we go to the top half of the 6th inning, and I want to let you know that the NFL on TNT this Sunday comes from Phoenix, Arizona, where coverage begins at 7:30 with the Silver Bullet Stadium show. Then at 8 o'clock, the Phoenix Cardinals host the defending Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys at Sunday night on TNT. The action gets underway at 7:30. Glavine's furious finish.
Yeah, that all began about 3 weeks ago, and the Braves were beginning to cut into the Giants' lead, and Tom Glavine unveiled a T-shirt. Said the year of the furious finish.
He's had a furious finish the second half.
8-1 since the All-Star break, and cruising tonight with a 9-0 lead. Thomas Howard takes ball 1. He is 1 for 2 in the night. Deep to center field. Otis Nixon drifting back. On the track for the out, 1 down.
Pete, the worst possible thing for a ball club when you've already blown a 10-run lead, 10-game lead in your division, and now you're reeling. You've lost 6 in a row, and you got to look at the scoreboard when your game starts, and you know that you've got to win just to keep pace. That's providing, of course, that the Braves are able to hold on and win. But that's right.
Plan ahead. Remember those signs? Plan ahead. Ran out of room there for San Francisco.
Yeah.
Fouled back by Reggie Sanders. Reggie 1 for 2 on the night. 9 runs, 10 hits for the Braves. No runs, 6 hits for the Reds. We're in the 6th. That's right through there for a call strike. 0-2.
Pete, you and I were talking about something over on radio that last night, listening to the broadcast of the Giants and Cubs, struck me as a little bit interesting.
This will be out of play.
That is the talk about the Giants regular lineup. Everybody's tired. That Dusty Baker knows that Barry Bonds is tired, but he can't afford to take him out of the lineup. He had to give Thompson a day rest. Well, the Braves are going basically the same lineup every day since the All-Star break, too. These guys show no signs of fatigue. And
you would think it'd be just the opposite, with San Francisco playing so many of their home games out at Candlestick Park in the cool weather, and the Braves playing so many of their home games in the heat and humidity here in the Southeast.
Right.
I'll tell you what they're tired of. They're tired of losing.
Boy.
That's all for Sanders. 4th strikeout. And out number 2 here in the 6th inning. I want to send along our best wishes to Jonathan Ray, Johnny Ray's son. Johnny runs our print shop here. He was in a bicycle accident the other day. He's at Southern Regional Hospital, and we hope he gets well soon. Here is Chris Sabo. Sabo has grounded out twice, once to short, once to third. Right down the middle for a called strike. The pitching parade continues. Kevin Wickander makes his way in from the Reds bullpen. 2-1 the count on Chris Sabo. That's looped into left field. That'll fall in for a base hit. Sabo aboard with a 2-out single, and the batter will be Hal Morris.
This is more identical to that game in Los Angeles as we go along than than you can imagine.
He gave up 10 hits in that game in 7 innings.
Right. Scattered the 10 hits, gave up only 2 runs and no walks. He hasn't walked any tonight. In fact, he hasn't walked a batter in 21 2/3 innings. And that was a big problem for him early in the year.
Now, fine, a Morris ball one. I did a radio talk show in San Francisco last night, and a quote from Barry Bonds that I hadn't heard before. And believe me, he does not want to finish in second place to the Braves again. He said he'd like to spend just 1 year when he can walk away from the season without having a big A snapped on his chest. Being with the Pirates the last 2 years and losing out in the playoffs, but this race is not over yet, folks. A long way to go and a tough road trip ahead next week for Atlanta. Glavine in danger of walking his first man. 3-0 now on Hal Morris.
That's right. Don't forget that while the Braves are playing the Phillies and the Expos, the Giants have got games coming up with San Diego and Colorado. They don't coincide at the same time. Giants are going to be playing Cincinnati. When the Reds leave here, they go home and take on the Giants. And then the Giants go from Cincinnati down to Houston for 4 big games in the Astrodome. That will be while the Braves are on the road too.
In the right field, another hit for the Reds. They're 8th. Sabo will stop at second. They have still not been able to dent the scoreboard, though. First and second, 2 down. And Joe Oliver, the batter. Oliver tonight 0 for 2. In the air to left field. Gant is there. Glavine's out of it again. 2 more runners stranded. And we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. It's still 9-0 Atlanta. A couple of changes for Cincinnati as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jack Doherty is a new left fielder. He'll be batting 9th in the order. We have a new pitcher, Kevin Wickander. We also have a new second baseman. Jacob Brumfield has moved to second. And Thomas Howard has moved to center. So the Reds, with all their extra people, go to their 4th pitcher on the night. Wickander making his 32nd appearance. He came over from Cleveland. A trade the Indians felt they really had to make just to get Kevin straightened out. He was having a tough time dealing with the loss of teammates Steve Olin and Tim Cruz. Olin especially very close to Wickander. Bushing worked an inning, gave up a hit, a run, walked 2, struck out 1. And David Justice leads it off here in the 6th for the Braves. 9-0 Atlanta. Ball 1 to Justice. Last time we saw this happen, the next pitch was hit out of the ballpark.
That's right. I wonder if that was just a ball or if that was a ball. David took a long look at him.
Two 2-0 the count. And Wickander's fallen behind 3-0.
I believe that's what Righetti did too. He fell behind 3-0. And Wickander might be hurt. He's signaling over to the dugout that he's, oh, maybe he's just sweating bullets. Let's see here.
don't know what the problem is out there with Kevin Wickander.
That's the first time I've ever seen that, I think. Maybe he's got a bloody nose.
Yeah, apparently he does. You can see it on the towel there.
Now that was different.
Trainer Greg Lynn out. He's going to try to stay in there.
Keeps stretching his jaw too, almost like his jaw was out of joint too.
Three and nothing, the count on David Justice, and the 3-0 pitch to him is not even close, ball 4, and that is the 8th walk issued by Cincinnati pitching tonight. And now we're going to get some changes for Atlanta. David Justice gets the rest of the night off as a pinch runner. Tony Tarasco comes in. Tarasco running for Justice, nobody out. Terry Pendleton tonight, 2 walks and a 2-run homer. There's a strike, 0-1. A ball on the strike, the count on Pendleton.
And the Braves have been, it seems like, carried by.
That's going to be a fair ball headed toward the left field corner. Tarasco heads for third. They'll hold him up there. And down to second with a double is Terry Pendleton. Nobody out. Runners second and third.
For the most part, you think about the team being carried by Gant, Justice, and McGriff. Sometimes the base running of Otis Nixon or Blauser's clutch hits. But if this guy gets hot, look out. I mean, as well as the Braves have played, you know, Terry Pendleton's had for him what many would consider an off year. Maybe not so in the second half, but he is really beginning to sting the ball with some authority and drive it a lot better with 2 home runs in his last 2 ball games and that line drive.
And now Damon Berryhill is the only man in the starting lineup without a base hit tonight. In fact, he has made the 3rd out in the 1st inning, the 2nd inning, and the 4th inning. 1 fly out and a couple of strikeouts. Here comes Bill Pecota now to pinch run for Terry Pendleton. And Pendleton will get a nice hand from this crowd. If you're a manager in a pennant race late in the year, this is the kind of game you dream about. A big lead midway through the game. You can give some of your regular players a little rest.
There haven't been many of those.
No, there haven't been.
There's been this is like the 3rd one in the last week.
It's even now in Berryhill. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Beat the Dodgers 8-2. Had an 8-run lead at one point. Beat the Padres 13-1. Now tonight.
Out toward second, fielded by Brumfield. His throw on the first in time. Another run scores. Tarasco coming home. And that makes it 10-0. Give Berryhill his 34th RBI of the year. Moving over to third, Bill Pecota. So you get a game like this, and also you got some good news today if you were Bobby Cox after the off day yesterday on the injury situation. Mark Lemke close to being ready to come back. He'll be in there before this homestand is over. Greg Maddux is okay and will start on Saturday. Kent Mercker gets the start tomorrow. They're not really skipping a turn for Maddux, just moving him back a couple of days to make sure the elbow is completely healed. And Mike Stanton fitted with a little plastic cast over the right thumb today. He'll still be available to pitch in the bullpen. So 3 injuries that could have been a problem will not be.
Yeah, Dave Pursley told me in a radio pregame interview that they just had to make some adjustments in Stanton's glove to fit that protective device into the thumb hole in his glove.
It's Merker against Rijo tomorrow night. And then we're back with you Thursday night. John Smoltz against Larry Lubers. That gets away from Oliver, but Bill Pacoda is not going anywhere. Ten runs, 11 hits for Atlanta Braves have scored in every inning except the third.
Good way to start the homestand, too. Braves know that they've played better baseball on the road this year than at home. So a good way to get this one going.
Toward third. Juan Samuel playing third. We missed that one when all those changes were made. He throws out Belliard. Now Tom Glavine will bat. Glavine tonight 1 for 3. On the play on 1. So the outfield is now Doherty in left, Howard in center, and Sanders in right. Around the infield, Samuel at third, Branson at short, Brumfield at second, Morris at first. And 2, the count on Tom Glavine.
As if these pitchers weren't enough alike for Atlanta. Avery has 12 hits on the year. Glavine now has 12 hits. Maddox has 12 hits. Smoltz has 11.
Still nothing in 2 on Glavine.
They keep it together in all facets.
And with Merker pitching tomorrow night, John Smoltz will get his chance to get even on Wednesday, or on Thursday rather. Check out their bunts, too. The sacrifice bunts are almost identical. 8 for Avery, 9 for Glavine, 8 for Maddox, 10 for Smoltz. That's it for Tom Glavine. Wickander recording his first strikeout. Braves pick up one more run here in the 6th inning. We go to the 7th, 10-0 Braves.
10-0 Braves as we go to the 7th inning of play. And coming up, Braves on TV include a telecast on Sports South tomorrow night, 7:30. Ernie Johnson Sr. will be teamed with Jay Johnstone. And then we'll be back coming your way on Thursday at 7:35 Eastern Time. That'll be John Smoltz against Larry Lubers in the conclusion of the Braves and Reds series.
Here are the changes for Atlanta as we go to the 7th inning. Tony Tarasco stays in there in right field. Bill Pacoda stays in to play third. We have a new first baseman, Sid Bream, as Fred McGriff gets the rest of the night off. And the lower third of the order due up here in the 7th for Cincinnati, beginning with Juan Samuel, who's 2 for 2 off Glavine tonight. Double thrown out, trying to stretch it into a triple. And an infield single. Another near capacity crowd tonight. Not many tickets left for the rest of the year. Got a few upper pavilion tickets for tomorrow night's game. And there are single tickets available for some of the Braves' remaining home games the rest of the way, but not many of them.
And about the only thing John Schuerholz has done wrong lately, he lost the coin toss on the possibility of a playoff game at the end of the season.
If there is one, it'll be the Monday after the season ends at Candlestick Park. Nothing in 2, the count on Samuel. That's okay, John. We kept Ryan Klesko. We kept Javi Lopez. We kept Chipper Jones. We got Fred McGriff. We just lost a coin toss.
Yeah, I think most of us could live with that.
Still 0-2 on Samuel. The way this team has played on the road all year doesn't make much difference. Of course, the Giants have been a good road team, too.
Yeah, but the Braves even talk about how much they enjoy it. nothing quite like going on the road, going into somebody else's house and playing as well as Atlanta has done. They've got a team record in road wins this year. 49 wins on the road, 49 and 26.
Now the 1-2 on the ground, sharply hit. Good play for Pacoda. Doesn't matter who's over there tonight. Terry Pendleton was super when he was in there. Now Pacoda in his first test passes. One down.
Bill Pacoda's always been able to catch the ball, Pete. He may not have been a terrific hitter early in his career, kind of worked into being a better contact hitter, line drive hitter, after finally establishing himself with the Kansas City Royals. But he's always been able to catch the ball and throw it.
Now Jeff Branson 0 for 2. Called strike one to Branson. Jack Doherty, batting in the 9 spot now, is on deck. Count goes to 0-2 on Branson. Pacoda again. On to first. Not in time this time. But he kept that ball from going down the line, where it would have been an extra base hit.
Right off the end of the bat. Backhanded, and it hit right off the heel of his glove and bounced far enough away that he couldn't catch it in the air, and that was the difference in the play. If he's able to catch that bounce before it hits the ground, he'll throw him out.
Wow, they're charging Bill Pacoda with an error.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
That is undeserved.
That's almost as bad as the call in the first inning when Thomas Howard was charged with an at-bat on a bunt when he bunted the runner to second base. That's a joke, I hope.
Even the crowd was booing that one.
Maybe that's why Branson was laughing at first base. He probably saw it flashed up there too. I'm not even writing that one in the book.
This is Jack Doherty batting for the first time. This guy has always been a pretty good hitter and a good pinch hitter. Played with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, he played for Bobby Valentine, who's now the third base coach for the Reds. Bobby knew what a solid hitter he was, and when he became available, encouraged the Reds to sign him up. Bobby V. His former ball club putting a little heat on the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, they are. Right now, both the White Sox and Texas are trailing. That's all for Doherty. Glavine records strikeout number 5. And now Jacob Brumfield. Brumfield tonight 2 for 3. Glavine trying to move to within 1 win of 20 as he tries to become a 20-game winner for the 3rd consecutive year, seeking his 19th tonight and coasting. 1-0.
He's been very disgusted with the rap put on him about being a bad second-half pitcher. He did not pitch well in the second half of '91 and admits it, but last year he was hurt.
Yep.
And he said that's nothing to place a pattern on me about. I was pitching with a broken rib. Most of us didn't know it until afterwards, after he had won his 20th game.
Breaking ball in there for a strike. 1-1. That's why Glavine, after the All-Star break, said he was determined to have a good second half and silence all the critics. And he said, if I put together a good second half this year, I can have some fun with it this winter. 1-2 the count. I know what he means there. He can go and speak at all the banquets and everything and address some of those writers who have criticized him.
That's out of play, still 1-2.
I just don't know too many guys that would have gone out there, and he probably had as many as 5 or 6 starts with the broken rib. Didn't say anything about it, and while he was pitching in a lot of pain, it was obvious he was not the pitcher that he'd been the first half. He was still going out there, keeping his ball club in ball games, and eventually racked up 20.
And we can tell you something else about that situation, too. You may wonder, well, why did it take so long for the Braves to discover that he had a cracked bone in his rib? Well, they knew about it before we were told. They knew about it about his last 3 starts, but doctors determined that he couldn't injure himself any further by pitching. It was up to Tom, and Tom said, I want 20. And he got it. Just like he just got his 6th strikeout, getting Jacob Brumfield. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, 10-0 Atlanta. Going to the bottom half of the 7th inning, it's been all Atlanta, and more substituting being done now by Bobby Cox. Deion Sanders batting for Otis Nixon to lead off the 7th inning. In foul territory, Juan Samuel may have a play on it over there. He does. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. And now the first major league at-bat for one of the most highly touted prospects in all of baseball, Chipper Jones. The International League Rookie of the Year at Richmond this year, 21 years old. He hit .325, 13 homers, 89 RBIs, 23 stolen bases, and gets a very warm welcome from the fans here in Atlanta who have heard this kid's name for the last 3 years and have been very, very anxious to see him. Slowly toward third, Samuel can't get it out of his glove, and Chipper Jones on the first pitch he sees in the major leagues is hitting 1,000.
Just as it should be.
They want that baseball. That's probably the first of many that Chipper Jones will be saving in his career, if he lives up to his billing.
It didn't go very far, but it goes in the books as a base hit. Chipper bounced this one right in the dirt. Juan Samuel, if he's able to field it cleanly, would have thrown him out. I'm surprised the scorekeeper didn't give him an error. Maddox and Avery.
No telling what that baseball is going to look like by the time Chipper gets back to the dugout.
No.
Ron Gant tonight, 2 for 3, a grand slam home run back in the 2nd. Line drive, base hit, left field. Jones will hold at 2nd. And the beat goes on for Atlanta. The only inning in which they have not scored coming into this 7th inning has been the 3rd. 2 runs in the 1st, 4 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. And runners 1st and 2nd with 1 man out here in the 7th for Sid Bream. Bream still a very, very popular player, even though he's not playing much these days. .258 for the year, with 9 homers and 34 runs driven in.
Sometimes, Pete, when you're not playing regularly, you have a tendency to lunge at the ball a little bit. You get a little anxious when you're in the batter's box. Sid's just as cool and calm and collected as if he's been in there every day.
Taking a strike in the inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And not flinching a bit on the left-handed curveballs.
Mark Wohler's up in the Atlanta bullpen. Line to the shortstop. They're going to get a double play. 6-4 as Chipper Jones couldn't get back to 2nd. And that'll do it for Atlanta here in the 7th. They pick up a couple more hits. They now have 13 hits on the night. And we go to the 8th inning. All Atlanta.
Time to take a look at the Delta scoreboard. First of 2 at Colorado. Armando Reynoso won his 10th game as Colorado won it. They're tied up after 5.5 in game 2. A rain delay at Florida with the Pirates on top. New York and Philadelphia going at it. Pete Incaviglia had to come out of that ball game with a pull muscle in his calf. Montreal a lead over St. Louis, and the other games on the coast will get underway a little bit later. In the American League, some big games going on. They're tied at Detroit after 6. Baltimore has fought back to take the lead over Boston after 8. New York pounding Milwaukee. Oakland over Minnesota in the 6th inning. Chicago now trailing Kansas City 3-2 in the 5th inning, and Texas needs to come back to cut the lead down to a game and a half, and those Mariners keep hanging in there. Keep an eye on them, and you can keep an eye on all the highlights tonight. CNN Sports tonight at 11 o'clock. Vince Cellini and Fred Hickman.
And some changes for Atlanta. Deion Sanders stays in the game in center. Chipper Jones stays in the game at short. We have a new pitcher, right-hander Mark Wohlers, taking over for Tom Glavine. Glavine working 7 scoreless innings, scattering 8 hits, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. Appearance number 40 of the year for Mark. The league hitting just 192 against Wohlers. He had everybody flinching on that one.
I don't know if I've ever seen an umpire getting out of the way, too.
He had Howard bailing one way and Tom Hallion bailing the other. Watch this.
And I don't blame either one of them as hard as Wohlers throws.
Well, you can see where Hallion sets up. He sets up right over the inside corner. Rob Dibble getting up now in the Cincinnati Reds bullpen. So we're going to see a little smoke here for the rest of this one. 2-2, the count of Thomas Howard. Many of the fans heading for home with the big lead. Look out.
Might be one fan wished he had left a little earlier, but it appears to be all right.
Inside corner, strike 3 call. Howard gone. 1 out in the 8th inning, and now Reggie Sanders. You were talking earlier, Joe, about Reds possibly backing up the truck, making a lot of changes for next year. You just wonder, though, what this club would have done with Kevin Mitchell and Biff Roberts and Barry Larkin and Bobby Kelly and Tom Browning and John Smiley and everybody else healthy all year. They had Dibble on the DL for a while. Hal Morris on the DL. They've had 18 different players on the disabled list this year.
Yeah, I think they've only had the regular lineup on the field together like for, I don't know, 5 ball games or something. They were 4-1, I think, in those ball games. It was certainly disheartening to them because it started early, and it was just a continuation of injury after injury.
If you remember back to spring training going into the season, the Braves were the favorites to win the division, but everybody thought the challenge would come from either Cincinnati or Houston.
Yeah, and you think about Cincinnati's injuries. Houston didn't have that many injury problems, but the 2 guys they signed didn't provide them with the spark they needed. Drabek lost tonight for the 16th time.
Full count now, 3-2. You look at the Houston rotation, they've got 3 starters having great years. Pete Harnisch, Darryl Kyle, and Mark Portugal. And 2 with losing records, Doug Drabek and Greg Swindell. Sometimes things just don't happen the way they're supposed to. Still 3-2 on Reggie Sanders. Down the right field line.
Reggie keeps getting closer and closer to fair territory on the fastball. His timing's getting a little better, and his bat's getting a little quicker with each fastball he sees from Wohlers. Might be time for that split finger pitch or something off speed to keep him off balance some.
Second strikeout in a row for Wohlers. 2 down. And now we'll get a pinch hitter. This looks like Gary Varsho coming on to bat for the pitcher. As a pinch hitter this year, Varsho 8 for 32. He has 2 pinch hit home runs.
See, not only did the Reds have a solid everyday lineup, they had added some veteran players off the bench that were really going to help them too, like Varsho, like Juan Samuel. Tommy Gregg was added when he was released by the Atlanta Braves. This was a solid veteran team.
And when you start getting injuries to your everyday players, it affects your ball club all the way down the line. Your bench gets affected because it weakens, because your better bench players are out there playing every day. Pitching staff may suffer because the new lineup out there defensively is probably not going to be as good as the lineup you'd normally have out there. You've got players playing out of position, and you've had them there all year. Samuel had to play first base for a while. Branson's not a shortstop by trade.
Right.
Injuries affect every facet of the game. Two and two on Varsho, and Wohlers perhaps one pitch away from striking out the side here in the 8th.
Even one of their guys that they are so high on, Willie Green, came up to get some playing time, and he's out for the rest of the year with torn ligaments in his thumb.
Still 2 and 2. Steve Bedrosian up now. He'll probably come on to pitch the 9th. Full count, 3 and 2. He walked him. That's the first walk issued by Braves pitching tonight. Glavine didn't walk anyone in his 7 innings. And it'll bring up Hal Morris, who's 1 for 3.
Give us a chance to watch Morris. I like to watch him hit because he may start in the back of the box, but there's no telling where he'll wind up at those happy feet when he's in his stance. But you hesitate to even call it a stance. It's like he's on roller skates in the box.
Nothing and 1, and that one had some mustard on it.
Yeah, sure did. Morris likes the ball out away from him, and he likes to hit the ball to the opposite field. He tried to pull that fastball and had no chance. His best shot will still be to go to the opposite field on Wohlers.
Missing outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Did you see what he did, though? He choked up on the bat a little bit. Tried to shorten it a little bit so he could get it around quicker.
Two and 1, the count on Hal Morris. Giants and Cubs will be getting underway in about 20 minutes. Jose Bautista for the Cubs tonight. Jim DeShays for the Giants. That's going to fall into right field for a base hit. And that is the 9th Cincinnati hit.
He got around on that one. Put a quick swing on that one.
Now Dan Wilson will pinch hit for Joe Oliver.
They're pretty deep in catching, Pete. They've got Joe Oliver, of course, who catches virtually every day. This guy, a highly touted catcher in college at the University of Minnesota, is the heir apparent. They've got another kid at the University of Oklahoma named Darren Cox, who was a 5th-round draft choice a few years ago. Solid catcher.
Now to play 0-1. Let me ask you a question now about Dan Wilson. He's the heir apparent, as you mentioned. If you're going to groom a guy to be the next regular catcher, wouldn't he have been better off this year catching every day at AAA? He's only played in 30 ball games this year, and he's been on the big league roster all year.
Yeah, I think so.
Seems like sort of a wasted year for a young prospect.
They may have found him a place to play winter ball, because he needs about 150 or so at bats, as many as he can get in one of the winter leagues somewhere.
0-2 the count. It's 1-2 now on Wilson.
The Braves have shut out Cincinnati 4 times this year, but all 4 of the shutouts came at Riverfront Stadium.
Still a ball and 2 strikes. It started early for Atlanta tonight. Count even 2-2.
Those totals, by the way, still tainted by the bad call by the official score on a ground ball hit by Branson. Braves still have an error on the board, but the Reds actually should have 10 hits.
Another foul ball. Still 2-2. Braves just 4 outs away from going 8-3 against the Cincinnati Ball Club this year.
Braves have won 3 out of 4 here at their home park against Cincinnati. Last year they were 8-1 against Cincinnati here, including that huge sweep in September, or was it August, when they played here the last time Cincinnati came to town.
Still 2-2.
Pendleton hit the home run off Charlton, I believe, in game 1 of that series. The Braves had fought back from a big deficit, about 4 or 5 runs, to win that game, and really picked up from there.
Again, the 2-2 pitch. And again, it's fouled off. So the Reds making Wohlers work a little in this 8th inning. It started out easy for him with a couple of strikeouts, but then the walk to Varsho and the base hit by Morris. And now a long at bat by Dan Wilson. Still 2-2.
Well, he brought his glove for something. Might as well use it. Nice play by the fan.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will be the 10th pitch made to Dan Wilson. Only thing wrong with an inning like this, Joe, is that if you need Mark Wohlers for an inning or for a hit or two tomorrow night, he's thrown so many pitches tonight, you wonder how effective he would be.
Yeah, he's firing fastball after fastball in there, too. He's trying to get it by him.
Again, the 2-2. This one is going to stay fair and get all the way down into the right field corner. Varsho rounding third will score. They're going to wave Morris around third. Belliard's relay to the plate will be late. 2 runs are in. And a great at bat for Dan Wilson, fouling off one pitch after another before delivering his 3rd double of the year and driving in his 7th and 8th runs. And it's now 10-2. And Steve Bedrosian is going to be brought into the game.
And more because of what you talked about, Pete.
So Bedrosian will be the 3rd pitcher of the night used by Atlanta. He'll inherit a 2-out runner at second situation. We'll be right back.
It was 10-0 when Dan Wilson hit this double into the corner, but watch Damon Berryhill. Big lead. He's still trying to block the plate. He's got that foot planted in front of home plate. Kept Morris off of there briefly before Al was able to find the plate a little bit. But even in a big lead, these guys are always doing something to try to win ball games. Damon Berryhill certainly no exception.
Steve Bedrosian, the new pitcher. League hitting just 183 against Bedrosian this year, and the batter is Juan Samuel. Another big crowd tonight, 48,795. Two and nothing now on Samuel. They're talking about Wohlers having to labor in this inning, marked through 37 pitches.
After getting 2 strikeouts to start the inning. But I think Bobby going to get him had a whole lot more to do with what you were talking about. Just the fact that he didn't want to burn him up for tomorrow or the next day by having him throw too many. And hopefully Steve can find the mark and get this inning over with.
He's behind 3-0. That's over for a strike. 3-1. Full count. 3-2 now on Samuel. Another nice play made by a fan on the upper deck this time. Good defense on and off the field tonight. Wilson down at second. And the 3-2 pitch. Still 3-2. Talking about pennant races, the New York Mets rallied to beat the Phillies 5-4.
Whoa.
Montreal is leading St. Louis in the 8th inning 10-2.
Whoa.
Montreal about to move to within 4.5 games of the Phillies lead. That's what's going on in the American League as the board changes. The Yankees up big. Toronto's taken a 6-5 lead now in Detroit. Baltimore hammering Boston 11-3. That's a fair ball by Samuel down the left field line. That's going to get Wilson home with the Reds' 3rd run. And Samuel drives in his 22nd run of the year. 3 runs across here in the 8th. It's now 10-3.
Juan decided that a double was good here with 2 outs. Didn't try to stretch that one into a triple.
That's his 3rd hit tonight. All 3 of the runs charged to Mark Wohlers. And all of this happening after 2 are out in the inning. Now Jeff Branson. Branson 0 for 3. Chicago White Sox still trailing Kansas City. That's going to get the runner over to 3rd. This inning really unraveling on the Braves.
Yeah, it's maybe due to just lack of concentration with a big lead to start the inning. And maybe Wohlers, after getting 2 strikeouts, relaxed a little bit. That's why he wound up walking Barshow. Doesn't make the manager or the pitching coach happy, though, with this kind of lead, to not be able to finish off the inning after getting the first 2 outs.
This should end the inning. Sid Brame fields. Bedrock covers. And that's all for the Reds in the 8th. But they're on the board with a 3 spot. We go to the bottom half of the 8th. 10-3 Atlanta. 10-3 Atlanta's lead is now as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Dan Wilson, who got that double as a pinch hitter, stays in the game to catch. And the new pitcher is Rob Dibble, making his 43rd appearance of the year. You normally wouldn't see him pitch in a situation like this, but with the off day yesterday.
You mentioned he was on the disabled list with a broken bone in his arm, suffered covering the plate on a wild pitch, but it hasn't gotten any better since he came back. His second half has been abysmal by his standards. It's Garth.
Well, there's Tony Tarasco. He looks like him.
Yeah, he does.
Tarasco pops this one into shallow center. Branson calling everybody off. And he's got it one down. Tarasco retired. Now Bill Pecota will bat. His first time up tonight. Pecota .327 for the year. Jay Howell loosening in the Atlanta bullpen. Japanese for a called strike earlier on the radio side. Joe, you were talking about Rafael Belliard being a player who always stays ready. Hasn't had that much playing time this year, but is ready to play anytime, anywhere he's asked to. You can say the same thing about Bill Pecota.
No question. If that error sticks that they credited Pecota with earlier in the game, it'll be the first one committed by either Pecota or Belliard all season.
0-2 the count. And you know, when you're not getting a lot of playing time, you can always make yourself useful to the ball club in some other way. And Bill Pecota's done that, too. He's offered to pitch batting practice just about every night. And has on many nights.
Good swing at a high slider.
1-2.
There's something new.
Little sidearm delivery. 2-2. Right back to the mound. Dibble over to first, 2 down.
19 saves on the year, but he's blown 8 opportunities.
It's been a problem for the Reds bullpen as a whole. They have blown 17 save situations this year.
Guy that started tonight's ball game got a chance to close some when Dibble was on the DL, and Bobby Ayala had 3 saves while Rob was hurt.
Lately, they've been giving some of their youngsters some opportunities. Ruffin has picked up 2 saves. Scott Service has picked up 1. Spradlin has picked up 2. Looped into shallow left field, and Damon Berryhill completes the cycle. All 9 Braves starters now have at least 1 base hit tonight.
He had to pay the price, too. His hands are still ringing. But he'll take it.
And that'll bring up Rafael Belliard.
Good fastball right in on his fists, and he fought it off. Broke his bat in the process.
That's a foul ball off Belliard's bat. Rafi 1 for 4 tonight. Braves now with 14 hits in the game. Brian Klesko has moved on deck. He'll be employed as a pinch hitter if Belliard keeps the inning going. Back into the crowd right below us. 0-2.
There's some talk about Dibble and some discussions or rumors about the Braves talking to the Reds right before the deadline of September 1st for players eligible for postseason. The Braves inquiring about his availability. And I think he was shopped around.
Two and two the count now in Belliard. Gave you that note a moment ago that the Reds bullpen has blown 17 save opportunities this year. I thought last year's bullpen with Dibble and Norm Charlton and Bankhead would have performed better. They had 55 saves, but they blew 23 save opportunities a year ago. That's it for the Braves in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th, still 10-3 Atlanta. Pitcher to work tonight for the Braves. You see the numbers on Jay for the year. The league is hitting .234 against him. And it'll be Jack Doherty leading it off here in the top of the 9th inning with the Braves leading at 10-3. They are underway now in Candlestick Park, the Cubs and the Giants. Braves trying to hold on here if they do, and they have a 7-run lead. And if the Giants lose, the Braves would have a 2.5 game lead. That would be their biggest lead of the year. McMichael up just in case.
Jose Bautista pitching for the Cubs tonight. Jim Deshaies making his 3rd start for the Giants.
Doherty struck out his only time up. One ball, no strikes.
Jay Howe was funny last night. I was talking to him about asking him why he didn't participate in the pitcher's hitting game here at home. He said it's a waste of time for me. He said, and I've let Bobby Cox know that right away, that there is absolutely 0 chance of success if I go to the plate. Bunting, hitting, doesn't matter. 0 chance of success. He said, you think about it, 81 games at home, a half hour of pitchers hitting each day, that's about 40 hours of wasted time for me.
And there's also a story about an injury he suffered while hitting.
Yeah, in high school. Hurt his knee.
Into right field. Here comes Carrasco. And there's the first out in the 9th inning. Now to bring up Jacob Brumfield, who is 2 for 4.
Pretty good hitter, he said, in high school, and he took a big swing one time and his right foot, the spikes got caught in the dirt and he tore his knee up, and he said there's a little bit of that blended in with me not really wanting to hit. 0 for 12 lifetime.
At the knees for a called strike. 0-1. Breaking ball in there. 0-2 the count. Baltimore has beaten Boston. Toronto still leads Detroit in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Yankees are pounding Milwaukee in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That's it for Brumfield. 2 down. And now the last hope for the Reds, Thomas Howard. And the remaining fans, as has become the custom here in Atlanta, on their feet now for the final out. Howard tonight 1 for 4. Foul back, 0-1. Mets beat the Phillies. Montreal about to beat the Cardinals. It's 10-4. Cardinals batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. That division about to get a game closer. 4.5 will be the margin. barring a huge comeback by the Cardinals. 0-2 the count now on Thomas Howard with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the 0-2 on the way. Strike 3 swinging. Braves have won the first of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds, piling up an early lead and holding on for a 10-3 victory over the Reds. Tom Glavine winning his 19th game of the year. We'll be back to wrap it up.
Well, the Atlanta Braves improve on their Major League best record as they win their 92nd game against 53 defeats, and they improve to 8-3 over the Reds in the first of 3 between the two ball clubs. 10-3 the final score. 10 runs, 14 hits, an error, and 10 left for Atlanta. 3-11-1, and 8 men left on base for the Reds. Tommy Glavine improves to 19-5, and for Tommy, that is his 5th win in a row and his 9th decision on the win column in his last 10 decisions. Bobby Ayala takes the loss. He's 6-8. Time of the game 3 hours and 1 minute. 48,795 here at the stadium. Ron Gant had quite a night. 3 for 4. He is our Armor All Protectant player of the game. The big blow for Ron Gant came in the 2nd inning off of Bobby Ayala. First pitch after the bases were loaded. Ron Gant sent a towering drive to left field. A little question is whether or not he got it all, but he did get enough, and it sailed out of here for a grand slam and gave Gant RBIs 101, 102, 103, and 104.
And that's the way the standings look as of now. The Braves 2 games up on the Giants. The Giants just underway with the Cubs. Cubs failed to score in the top half of the 1st inning. The rest of this series will continue tomorrow night. Sports South will have it for you. Cincinnati will send Jose Rio to the mound against Kent Merker. We're back with you on Thursday night, 7:35 Eastern Time. John Smoltz against Larry Lubers. Until then, don't forget to watch our movie, A Man Called Sledge. James Garner starring in it, coming up next. We'll see you again on Thursday night. For Joe Simpson, Skip Carey, Don Sutton, our entire TBS crew, Pete Van Wieren from the ballpark in Atlanta. Final score tonight, 10-3 Braves. Braves up by 2 now over the Giants. Good night, everyone.